Hey there, welcome back to the Monday Rehash, and I'm so glad you're joining us today as we're going to be talking about yesterday's recap from This Is Not Us. We finished that series, and we talked about tweaking versus transforming, not trying to make a better me, but trying to become more like Jesus with a total surrender to transformation. And I'm sitting here in the van because I wanted to give you an illustration of, as I'm driving, obviously I have to look forward, and once in a while I look back in the rearview mirror, but I never drive and live my life while looking through the rearview mirror. It's just a reminder for me of where I've been, what God's brought me through, and sometimes we can get hung up on looking back at our past and we forget where God has brought us. And sometimes our past can keep us moving forward into the future that God has for us. It's that hesitation that the enemy also brings into our minds of a lie that says, how could you be different? How could you be the glory of God? How could you be transformed into the image of Jesus? You're a sinner. Well, we know that we're sinners, but we're also saved by grace. And so we're now children of God. It reminds me of the story in Genesis where God tells Lot, you've got to get out of Sodom and Gomorrah. And then he specifically tells him, don't look back. Don't look back. Keep your eyes forward, but get away from your past. And sure enough, as they're leaving the city, the record says that Lot's wife turned back, and she loved the past so much. She loved the things of the world so much. She looked back. She felt like she was losing something. And she wanted to see, I guess, what was the destruction of all that she was losing, rather than recognizing all that she was gaining. And she looks back, and when she does, the Bible says that she turns to salt, and that was the end of her life. That was it. Now, I haven't seen anybody get turned to salt recently, or ever for that matter, but I have seen a lot of people who, like Demas, were going forward, turned and looked back, didn't complete the transformation process, and basically their life at that point was useless. They became salt, although they didn't turn into salt. Their life became salt in a sense that they were just a pillar standing there. And so I want to remind you today that as you're going through the transformation process, that sometimes it's okay to remind yourself where you've come from, but you cannot live in the past. You may be able to have a short, small little view of your rearview mirror, looking back and saying, this is where I've been. But the windshield is the big driving picture. This is where God's taking us. Don't let your past keep you from being transformed into God wants for you in the future. All right, so thanks again for joining us. And listen, next week, we're going to start another series called Forward Faith. And it's going to be a fantastic series. I'm going to encourage you how to grow in your faith, how to know your faith, how to activate your faith, all the things about faith that we need to apply to our lives. And so it's going to be great. In the meantime, don't forget, lead someone to life. We love you and hope to see you next week. God bless.